Welcome back to Longbox Diving, where we explore comics and story arcs pulled from the Longbox. And this new comic book day has been fantastic. Now, we're going to review our top 3 books this week. Now, that is not to say the other books weren't fantastic. They were great. I mean, Once in the Future, awesome. Granny with a chainsaw covered in blood, perfect. Hellions was killer. That was great. Donny Cates, again, is doing really well with Thor. And, we got Mechanic Thor now, or is it Garage Owner Thor? I don't know. Storm, Giant Size, it kind of wrapped it up, but kind of showed us how pointless the whole thing was to begin with. And then a tie-in to Death Metal, Justice League Death Metal, and it was interesting, it was good. But these were not the top 3, though they were really good, and it came really close. Some of them could have fit in here. Hellions could have fit in here real easy. But I did pick my top 3 because of what's going on so far, how the story was, and it was good. So first is Batman 99. Now this is leading up to Batman 100, which is, it's a pretty big issue. I mean, it's a big milestone issue. But this story has been fantastic so far. Tinian and Jimenez's art is just top notch. It is hitting on all cylinders right now. I mean, look at this. That's beautiful. Right, and then Tinian is just doing a great job at the writing. He's doing a lot of fixing of what Tom King broke, because Tom King broke a lot of a job. And we got, look at this, look at the whole family's together. And he gives Nightwing back his stuff. So Joker's taking over the city. Joker's taking all the money. Catwoman's teaming up with Enigma and Penguin to steal money back, or something along those lines. And I guess back from Joker. But yeah, it's still good. I mean, Nightwing gets his costume back, and then we come across this picture. Look at this thing. That's beautiful. Look at the bat down at the bottom here. Look at that. The shadow of the bat, the cityscape, his cloak, and then we get the full on. That is Batman, right? That is Batman. He is looking mean. And then we get the whole interaction with Harley, and I love this. Harley's like, you got to kill the Joker. He's like, well, we're not going to kill the Joker. That's not what we do. And he's like, if you fail, Batman, I'm going to kill the Joker. And we get this. Look at her face. Look at her face. The emotion there written into her face. Jimenez has done such a fantastic job on this book with the art and the writing. And she goes, then you stop me now. You put me down hard. You make sure I don't get back up and finish the job myself. This can't be like all the other times. The story needs to change. It needs an ending. Beautiful stuff, man. And then we see he brought Alfred back, and then we get the Joker in a weird Batman costume. So this book has been fantastic. The story's been fantastic so far. Jimenez's art, killing it right now. He's hitting on all cylinders for me. It is beautiful. Tinian's writing has been top notch. Definitely one of the top books this week. Definitely in the top 3 of my books right now for this new comic book day, because it has just been awesome. And so then we move on to the next book. Now, this hasn't been on my top list for a while because Hickman, I don't know. It's on and off with X-Men. I'm never sure 100% if it's going to be a good X-Men story or a bad X-Men story. This week, X-Men 12 was a great X-Men story. But the thing is, it was all in the past. It was great. It was fantastic. We get the Summoner. We don't know if the Summoner's on our side or on the X-Men side or not on the X-Men side, or is he with Apocalypse, or is he against Apocalypse? I'm not 100% sure. He's been playing games. He's here on our but we kind of get the back history. If you remember, way back to House of X, Powers of X, where Urakoa and Krakoa were separated. And then the 4 horsemen were pushed onto the other side with the other island. And this kind of goes through and tells the story of what happened over there after the 4 horsemen went over there. And they founded a kingdom. They've lived for thousands of years. They have a whole society. Wars back and forth between different parts and different against the 4 horsemen. I think they're like battling each other. And then they opened up a portal to our universe and Krakoa, where Krakoa kind of partly came through. And so the Summoner here is like, I've got to take I've got to take somebody back. We got to take Apocalypse back to get this fixed, bring the island back, and kind of make everything back to normal. And Apocalypse is like, well, I can't come right now, but I'm going to send Unis and Banshee back through the gate with you, and they'll go ahead and take care of it and help bring you back. I mean, the art's really good. And I believe that. I mean, look at this. I believe this is Yu's last issue on X-Men, which is kind of sad because his stuff is really good. And this is very done panel. So it's done almost like a history, right? You feel like this is just chronologically, this is what happened. There's no dynamic panels here in a sense of things different and crossing over in 2-page spreads. No, it is very much boom, boom, boom. It's like almost like you're reading a history book until we get near the end, and then the end kind of flips over to a little bit different, right? It's got more of the big, here's the portal, and again, a little bit different here, a little bit portal. And so we get them going over. It says, you have my word, Grandfather. This, I promise now. So it's coming up. We got Juggernaut next, and then we get into the X of Swords, which I have a feeling has something to do with Krakoa. And all these guys over there all these 4 horsemen over there seem to fight with swords. So are the X-Men going over there and helping to bring people back? Are they fighting a war? I don't know what's going to go on yet. It has piqued my interest for the X. Now I'm not getting Marauders. I'm not getting Excalibur. I'm not buying all these books just because it's part of the series. I know the story's going to fall through them, and I'm going to miss some of the story. I get it. But it has piqued my interest into what this story is about based off of this book right here. So that's one of the reasons it made it into my top 3 this week. It actually piqued my interest in what's going on with this story. And I'm just glad it's not a plant thing again. I am sick and tired of plants. I don't want to hear about plants. I don't want to see plants. I don't want to hear about plant villains. And then we have the Empire and more plants. I'm done with plants. Marvel, please stop with plants. Please, no more plants. All right, so that was actually really good because there was no plants. And we went into did things that was exciting. We got some history of what's going on in the background that we kind of got a glimpse at a year ago, and it's just been good. That was great. I liked it. So this is a hit. I put it in the top because I want a reward when things actually are good, But other times this book is like up and down, up and down. I never know. All right, so again, the last book pick is a new book, and I picked it because it's kind of rare that I read a book and I'm like, whoa, okay, that's interesting. A lot of times I'll read it, so okay, that was okay, so I'll get the next one. This one I really can't wait for the next one. I've got to go and call them and make sure it gets on my pull because I kind of pulled it off the shelf. Now, again, there's other good books in here, but I picked this because it's number 1. I hadn't really heard about it until I picked it up off the shelf. I saw some other people talking about this book coming. Chip Zdarsky is the writer. Raymond Perez is StillWater number 1. All right, this was crazy. And we start out, Chip Zdarsky does kind of set the stage. We got a guy who has an attitude problem, right? He is always getting into fights. He has an issue at work. He gets fired. He finds out some aunt somewhere has money, right? And he's like, okay, him and his friend is like, we're going to go get the money. And they show up in this town that's not even on the map. The GPS doesn't know the way to it. They ask for directions. People are like, I don't know what you're talking about. So now they're in the middle of nowhere in a town that nobody seems to know about. And things are weird, right? We see one kid push another kid off the top of a building. They rush the kid into the doctor, and the kid just kind of gets up and walks off. Right? The sheriff is like this small town hick kind of sheriff who's like, drags him off, ties him up, puts him in the back of the truck, takes him out in the middle of the woods, and is going to execute them, right? And it's apparently anybody in the town can't die, but if you're outside the town, you can die. And like sheriff's like, every minute I'm out here, I age. So I need to get back into town. We need to go ahead and take care of this quick. And boom, man, he shoots the friend in the face, man. It's done. Now, there are spoilers. Spoilers in this. If you have not, it is Monday. So if you haven't read it by now. So, it's crazy stuff. And I won't break the ending for you, but something happens in the end, and he's like, what? And I'm like, whoa, okay. Yeah, that was good. That was really good. So, StillWater number 1. Again, one of my top issues this week. as a number one. It really hit home. It felt good, like a good storytelling, building. I kind of relate to the character a little bit, and then craziness happens, and it's like, whoa, what? And then you got to do all through it. So all three of these are our top books this week. Fantastic stuff. We got Batman 99, X-Men 12, and StillWater number 1. Again, these were great as well. We're just not going to review them. This one was good. If you haven't read this, it's a tie-in, but it still kind of goes along with Justice League. This was okay. If you've read the other giant size, you need to kind of get on and finish what's going on and why Storm needs to be healed. And why in the world Storm needs to be healed to just die and resurrect? I don't know. That may not make any sense. The whole Endless Winter is over, but the hammer is still getting heavy, except for the guy who fixes trucks out in the middle of the desert. And again, also what's cool is in this, they actually put a phone number on the hammer, and if you call it, it's like Tony Stark's voicemail or something like that. It's very cool. Very well done. This is killing it. All right, this would have made the list if one of the others hadn't. This was right up there. This is number 4 for me. This was great. Hellions is one of the top books right now in the Dawn of X line. And again, this was another hit for me. Grendel and Grandma cutting Grendel with a chainsaw, and then Grendel's mommy shows up. All right. So if you haven't gotten those, you definitely need to get onto these. These books were fantastic. My top 3 were great. The only one I really was iffy on was the Storm Giant Size X-Men. The rest of these were fantastic, and definitely happy I picked them up, and you should probably be on most of these too if you're not yet. So that is our review for this week, our top 3 review. Hopefully you enjoyed it, and if you like this content, please like and subscribe, and we'll see you next time here in the Long Box.